And welcome to bexbugoutsurvivor, and today I brought with me my Buffalo Special 6 shirt. I'm not sponsored, so you're going to get a pretty honest review. So what is the Buffalo Special 6? What does it do? How does it differ from other kit I might be thinking of getting, and who is it for? It's going to be for people like me, especially the weekend camper, the bushcrafter, field crafter. And what is it for? It's to replace a layering system. So if I have a layer like a base wool next to my skin, say a merino, and then you'd layer up then maybe with a fleece, polyester or more merino wool, and that is one layering system. Another layering system is to have multiple layers that are very thin, and I found doing that, which I've been doing for quite a bit, it's always a jumper on, a jumper off, a jumper on, jumper off, raincoat on, and you're changing constantly throughout the day, rather than just one element that hopefully, if it works out, is going to cover all that. It's to replace the layering system. It's not cheap, but I'm not getting any younger. Now this is the Buffalo Special 6, and the compression sack is Buffalo, but the sack is for the sleeping bag. So I do have the Buffalo 2-part sleeping bag in medium, and I wish I'd have got the large on reflection, but it still could work. So this might even be used in conjunction with the Buffalo sleeping bag in the upcoming months. I've yet to find out, and it might even be in lieu of, say, one of the sleeping bags. So it's exactly the same makeup, with a nylon Pertex shell and a thick fibre pile fleece lining, and this is similar to a poncho, so something that you just slip over your head. Now there is a version of this called the Mountain, which isn't as long. This has an extra tail at the back, so when you sit down, keeps your bum nice and warm. I'm going to lay it out, and then we can have a quick look at what it looks like. It reminds me of the old-fashioned cagoules that the kids in the UK used to wear. So it's an overhead smock with a kangaroo pocket, a map pocket, and there's the Buffalo brand label there, and Buffalo is made in Sheffield in the UK. So there's a zip on the front, so you can toddle it right the way up, and Velcro that goes around the back of the hood, and it's to put the hood on the Velcro. It's a separate purchase, unfortunately, one that's going to cost about 40 quid if you want the hood for it. On the side are vents, left and right. These zip vents come all the way up and down, almost to your armpit. And although this camera is not going to pick it up, I know, that is YKK, which is a Japanese company that make the best zips in the world. It's not a crash zip, so I can't pull this apart and it opens up like other sleeping bag crash zips. So that there is almost up to the armpit. There is the Aquatherm fleece pile lining there, nice and warm. The Pertex shell, nylon, wind resistant up to 50 miles an hour, just like the sleeping bag has the same material as this. Pertex on the outside, Aquatherm fleece on the inside. A mapping pocket on the front and a kangaroo pocket on the front, hand warmer. Now to put this on, I undo the zips. I'm going to put my arms in first. It has wrist cuffs, so you want to make sure they're undone before you put this on. And then pop it over your head. I need to do the zips up on the side. One there. Put my hat back on. As you can see from the armpit, almost all the way down. Now this is a two-way zip. So one there and one here. So up and ventilation. So to get it on and off, that zip for ventilation, and you don't want it coming undone at the bottom. I have a zip here, and I have the ventilation, the neck zip here, and do up the velcro on the neck, on the arm cuffs, and two on the side. In the top is a mapping pocket here, which is zipped but not fully waterproof, so if you have the old-fashioned paper maps, make sure you've got it in the mapping bag. And in mine I just have the literature that it came with, the cards. Don't know if you can see them. It is the genuine issue special 6. Brand new. And do my zip up. If I stand up, I'll show you the kangaroo pocket, which can be tightened from the inside. This is the hand warming kangaroo pocket, and it has the pile, or the Aquatherm pile fleece lining on the back of your hands, but not on the belly part, that is meshed. On the inside is a band of webbing like that, and I can tighten up using a little drawer like this on a slide, so I can pull that tight and get it tight on the back here. But of course it's all done from inside the kangaroo pocket, so I'm going to tighten up the back piece, get that nice and tight. The way this is designed to work is to replace a layering system. Now Buffalo say you can put this straight next to bare skin, and I've tried that, but obviously at the time of filming we haven't got particularly cold weather. So I think it's around 3 degrees. You can just about make my breath out there, so it's not bitterly cold. But you can also use it with just a single layer, so if you want to put one single layer of merino or one single layer of polyester, that should be fine. I've got my polyester sweat wicking t-shirt under this. No matter what element I have under here, it does mean I'm going to be carrying less in my pack. I'm going to be carrying just a warm sweater or a warm coat for when I get to camp, because this is good for walking in, and it draws the sweat out, keeps it in your Aquatherm, hence aqua, wet, sucks up the sweat, and the sweat dissipates through the Pertex, which is not impervious to water, so it is showerproof, not windproof. And when I looked into it, whether I should put a rain jacket over this, like a poncho, a rain poncho, it was suggested not to, just to let it get wet. So I don't need a rain jacket, I don't need a layering system, I don't even need a t-shirt. Same with the sleeping bag. I have a 2-piece buffalo sleeping bag, and so far, yeah, I have worn clothes in it and it's not been brilliant. A couple of nights I've been in it, I did strip off and it worked just fine. So it really does work better stripped off. When you get to camp, it's not going to be as warm once you stop moving. So in your pack, you just need a coat to replace this with. And mine is the Norwegian Special Forces Canadian ECW extreme cold weather coat, and that isn't waterproof either, so I might put a lightweight smock in that. So this comes off and your warm gear goes on. So this is only for walking in. So when I looked at this and wanted to buy it, it was purely for the fact I wanted to downsize the layering system. Downsizing the layering system means I've got less in my pack. If I've got less in my pack, I'm carrying less weight. If I'm carrying less weight, I can go further without getting tired. And the ECW coat doesn't weigh that much. Bit bulky, that's all. Before we talk about the price and where I got it from and other factors such as how to size them correctly to your fit, I'm going to get a Brew on. Now, because I have stopped, I'll be taking this off, putting my ECW on, and then before I leave, my ECW goes back in the pack and I put this back on. So I am going to test it how it should be used, and in the future upcoming video we'll test it in anger against strong winds and the cold once them temperatures get to this country. So there will be a part 2, the Buffalo Special 6 used in anger. And I'm just going to fix a quick brew, my little day kit for a quick slurp. Just screw on the old BRS. This is the stainless steel. I wish I had the titanium. It wasn't that much more expensive, the titanium BRS mini stove, and I have been so impressed with this. It might be in my top 5. Got plenty of gas. Nip it up. So the Special 6 was a bit of an investment. It's not going to be a budget thing, but I do have a similar style, which was the nuclear, biological, chemical warfare smock. Looks much the same, only it has a charcoal liner. So while I get that brew together, I may as well tell you the other things you need to know about the Special 6. Mine was nearly 180 UK pounds, so yeah, it's not cheap, but it's something I've had my eye on. and what it means for me is I can lose the whole layering system. But yeah, I've finally got round to it. Like I said, I'm not getting any younger, so I'm not going to go without. It's as simple as that. If you prefer a merino wool layering system, then you need to go down that road of getting yourself a nice merino wool setup. So in no way am I trying to sell you one of these or anything. You know, I don't get paid for doing this channel. There's no agenda for me. I'm just demonstrating this if you have a wish to buy one. It's simple, really. Now, you do want to be looking at a size bigger than you would usually go for on your chest. So they go up in increments of 2 inches. So I bought the size larger than I would usually have, and that's worked out for me. So long as you're not putting on too much weight too quickly, it's going to be a piece of kit that's going to last you a long time, and hopefully my buffalo sleeping bags will last a long time as well. Bought some real coffee with me, and as soon as that has come to a boil, I'm going to simmer the coffee. Ooh, very rich, lovely. So it was an investment purchase and not a purchase that was taken lightly. With things that purchases I don't take lightly, it's going to be shelter and insulation. Biggest part of your kit is to stay warm and dry, and there is where you want to invest your money, whether it's a sleeping bag, a tent, a bivvy. And a lot of people think, well, a sleeping bag is a sleeping bag. I can do with just any old sleeping bag, save myself some money. But we all know that if you buy cheap gear, it often just doesn't do the job and needs to be replaced with the bit of kit that does work. So I did get a lot of success with the MBC Smock Mark III, I think it was. I was 19 when I had the first one, and it looked very similar, and you might have seen me wearing it. Some lads in the military do use these, and they're not issued or anything, but people in the Lifeboat Institute wear these at sea. And if you're in America, we have an emergency service called the Lifeboat Institute Sea Rescue, and it's all volunteers. There's no government money goes into that. So in Britain, we like to donate our charity money to the RNLI, Royal Lifeboat Institute. And if the lads out in the North Sea and the Irish Sea are wearing these, then yeah, I'm going to go with what the pros use. Mountain Rescue Service use Buffalo. And again, yeah, if the pros are using these, then so am I. I'm going to turn the gas back on and just bubble it for a few minutes. So it wasn't an impulse buy. I was planning to get it all along. So the price can be a bit off-putting, but provided you don't put too much weight on, you'll have it a long time. There's areas of my kit that I will not compromise on, and insulation and shelter is one of them. And before I go, I'll be slipping off my ECW jacket that I've got on now. I'm popping that back on and walking back. Now, I'm not walking a hell of a distance today because I'm only parked over the hill there. It's less than a mile probably, so I'm not going to get a sweat up. So what I could do, or will do, is another video testing it out in anger, because we do have some weather predicted that is meant to be -3 here in the UK, so dip below 0. So it's about as cold as it's going to get here in the UK. I'm in Wales, so it's pretty coastal. The salt air doesn't bring the temperature down that much. It would take one hell of a storm front for the temperature to go lower than that. And we had one called the Beast from the East, which was from Russia, and that got down to minus 22 and minus 14 without the chill. And in my hammock setup, I did have a buffalo sleeping bag, and I forget what temperature it was inside the hammock setup. It was something like plus 23. So I did put that on when it arrived and go for a walk with it just onto the bare skin, and it does work better bare skin than it does with a t-shirt. This black reversible ECW, I've been out well below zero just in the t-shirt, so the fact I can just have a spare t-shirt in the pack instead of a layering system appeals to me a lot. Buffalo do a trouser section as well, which might be great if I just bring out one part of the Buffalo sleep system and then just sleep in my Buffalo pants and top. But I do have a whole new range that I'm thinking of trying for the lower section, and again, I don't want to be bringing multiple layers to camp, and it's going to take more explaining than I've got time for now. But what is in this pack is the leg section, which includes waterproofing for the legs and insulating at the same time without going too heavy, too bulky. So the elements in this I would actually be wearing now, so I wouldn't be carrying this other than the waterproofs, and we'll come to that on that video. Right, I'm going to finish this brew up, swap out my coat, my ECW, for my walking coat, which is going to be the Special 6, and we're done. Right, I'm in the process of swapping out the ECW, putting on the Buffalo. I've undone the zips. With this two-piece zip, I always tend to think I'm zipping it down when in fact I'm zipping it up. So what I'll do to counter that is to put a lanyard on the side where I know I'm pulling down and not opening it to ventilate it. It's a very smart look, so you won't be out of place anywhere. And let me just see if I have something in my pack. So I could go from field crafting like this, or a day out walking. This would be great up in Snowdonia. And put on the old shooting hat. And now I'm fit for a day's shooting grouse with Sir Lord Charles. Now, we spoke about leg section. This is a whole new idea that I was reading online about how some of the guys and gals on the CDT and the Appalachian Trail, some of the big trails, wear the bottom halves, and I thought that would be worth trying. So this is going to be a separate little video of the lower half combined with these, and how I can hopefully get away with a lighter layering system for the bottom half. It was just a case of taking off my ECW and swapping out back to the Buffalo. It was nice, that. And then hit the trail after you've had a nice warm up. Like I said before, we are going to test this out in anger because we have some cold weather coming up, and if we get a particularly windy day, I'll try it out and edit both cold and wind in the same video. Shelter, insulation and a cook set is all you need, so you may as well look after and invest heavily in those areas. The rest, like your pack and your knife, your torch, I would say they're secondary to where you put your money in your kit. I mean, I could put a cheap jacket and a cheap sleeping bag in a really expensive pack, but it's not going to do me any good if what is in the pack is inferior. I would go the other way. I would invest heavily in a shirt like this and maybe a good tent and get the next 10, 15, 20 years. And there are people who have had jackets like this for over 20 years. Now, I don't know if I'm going to make another 20 years at my age. So yeah, I'm going to invest where it counts with insulation. So this has been the Buffalo Special 6. A quick overview of how it all looks, how much costs, getting your fitting correct. That's all you need to know. So until next time, take care of yourself and I'll see you out there. Tally ho, old chap.